We are live from Fridley, Minnesota, where Paul Brady is going up against Abraham Montijo from Tucson, Arizona. Paul, of course, coming in from Ireland. Dave, now, it was interesting. We were able to sit back and log what happened with that Emmett Fichot and Luis Moreno match.
Paul, can you hear me?
Quarterfinals just took place. And as we prepare
for semifinals, open division, Paul Brady versus Abe Montijo.
You could only hope that Luis Moreno can maybe some of that brilliance there from the first match that we just watched is going up kind of go against one of his counterparts here locally in Tucson, Arizona, and Abraham Montijo. Maybe he can kind of will Abraham into some points here. Now, Abe played Paul Brady at one of these showdown matches in Tucson, Arizona about a year ago or so. It seemed like it's about this time. And did fairly well against Paul Brady as we see that first serve. You thought we could carry over some of that?
That was actually 2013, so about a year and a half ago. But, you know, Abraham has a scrappy game. He's going to make you hit a lot of shots and make you earn all your points. And we saw Abraham, Dave, a couple weeks ago at the Armed Forces Tribute in Tucson, push Luis Moreno to a tiebreaker 11-6 there in the third game. So very competitive. And comes in here with a lot of confidence, having defeated Tyrese yesterday, Dave, in 2 games. A lot of people expecting a very close match there, and it wasn't. Abraham, who just dominated. Now, Paul Brady, Dave, this is one of the first times we've ever seen Paul coming off a lopsided loss, certainly in the last 12 years. You know, Paul Brady's last event, Dave, in Tucson, 15-11, 15-4, really inexplicable to Killian Carroll there at the Players' Championship in Portland. And not really sure how he's going to respond to that. A very close match there. I know, Dave, that it wasn't. A lot of people think that that'll just be motivation for him and now Paul Brady help him actually motivate him to tie Nadia Alvarado's here. But, you know, I'm not so sure. Paul Brady has that invincible shield, and now all of a sudden it seems like there could be some cracks in it. 15-4, really inexplicable to Killian Carroll there at the Players' Championship in Portland. And not really sure how he's going to respond to that. A lot of side outs here early, Dave. No one on the scoreboard yet. A lot of people think that that'll just be motivation for him and Paul Brady help him actually motivate him to tie Nadia Alvarado's here. But, you know, I'm not so sure. Paul Brady has that invincible shield. Always good to get on the scoreboard against Paul Brady early, because if you don't, you start to wonder, will I ever?
Well, both of these guys are trading side outs right now.
Dave, no one on the scoreboard yet.
It's difficult when you play Brady because when you trade a side out, you feel like you've earned a point, but then you find yourself with no points on the scoreboard, and then eventually you're down 8-0, wishing that you could actually score a point
against Paul Brady early.
It's a terrible position to be in when you're playing a top player, where you're wishing that you can make a point. Because now you're not thinking about your own game. You're not thinking about all the things that you need to think about.
No one on the scoreboard yet.
It's difficult when you play Brady because when you trade a side out, you feel like you've earned a point.
Already with 2 losses
with no points on the scoreboard,
already in 2016, which equals the number of losses he had between 2005
it's a terrible position to be in when you're playing a top player, where you're wishing that you can make a point.
Physically, Dave, even at 36, I think he looks to be the same guy that we've seen since he started this amazing run in 2005, but it seems like his concentration hasn't been quite as sharp as we've seen in the past. Maybe already with 2 dealing with more things off his plate or on his plate off the court, equals the number of losses. He is engaged now and between earning a master's degree and also working, so he has a lot going on besides trying to tie Nadia Alvarado's record of 11 USHA 4-wall national titles. To be the same guy, which he is the huge favorite to do this weekend. Amazing run in 2005, but it seems like his concentration hasn't been quite as sharp as we've seen in the past. Maybe already with 2 dealing with more things.
Score is 4-4, I believe I'm hearing.
On his plate off the court, equals the number of losses. Engaged now and earning a master's degree and also working. So he has a lot going on besides. Now Abraham takes a lead, playing really well here. USHA 4 straight points for the Tucsonian. He is the huge favorite to do this weekend.
I think Paul Brady found out exactly what everyone was talking about late in Nadi Alvarado Sr.'s career when you said, well, why would Nadi just retire at 36 or 37 years old? Why wouldn't he just keep going on? He was clearly better than everybody. But Father Time catches up to you, and these young guys start scoring points. And there's another one for Abraham Montijo, 6-4.
4 straight points for the Tucsonian. He is the huge favorite to do this weekend.
I think Paul Brady found out
you have to
exactly
think
what everyone was
that
talking
at
about.
some point the motivation in the drive isn't quite there. You beat the same guys for
why would Nadi just
a decade plus.
36 or 37 years old? Why would
now these guys are hungry
clearly better than everybody.
to try to erase some of those losses,
But
and you're
Father Time catches up to you, and these
maybe a little bit complacent.
And there's another one for Abraham Montijo, 6-4.
I mean, every person Paul has played, he's got probably 10 wins against, up against 0 losses, with the exception of Mondo Ortiz and Luis Moreno. You have to think and Killian Carroll. At some point, the motivation in the drive isn't all of whom have combined for 4 wins. A decade out of 52 total matches. These guys are hungry to try to erase some of those losses, and you're
Father Time catches up to you, and these
maybe a little bit complacent.
And there's another one for Abraham Montijo, 6-4.
I mean, every person Paul has played, he's got probably 10 wins against, up against 0 losses, with the exception of Mondo Ortiz and Luis Moreno. You have to think and Killian Carroll. At some point, the motivation in the drive isn't all of whom have combined for 4 wins. A decade out of 52 total matches. These guys are hungry to try to erase some of those losses. Maybe a little bit complacent.
Score here is 6-4, short ball. Abraham Montijo coming in from Tucson, Arizona. He's been in Fridley, Minnesota for about 3 days now. Looks like he's prepared for this match. How hard is it for you as a player, Dave, to look forward past around? You always hear people talk about, oh, he was already planning that win and he took it off, and therefore that's the reason why he lost, or it was a close match. As a competitor that's been in the semifinals of major pro stops, yourself, do you ever look past around, or do you just say, I only focus on this?
Well, I think it depends who you're playing. I think
3 days now.
It helped Abraham to play
Like
a talented player like Tyree yesterday.
How hard is it for you as a player, Dave,
and not enabling him to look ahead in the draw, because he knew he had a tough match with Tyree, so
hear people talk about,
didn't really have that focus on Paul Brady. I'm sure he knew that, should he win that match, he would be playing Paul, but at the same time, he knew he'd have to play well to beat Tyree, so I think it's beneficial to Abraham, who got those competitive juices going yesterday,
I only focus on this,
and played very well in taking out
Abraham to
the Brooklyn Brawler,
A talented player like
Tyree Bastidas, formerly known as the Boy Wonder,
not enabling him to look ahead
in the draw, because he knew he had a tough match with Tyree, so
did
not much of a brawl though yesterday. Paul Brady, I'm sure he knew that Abe winning that match, 42-17, combined in the 2 games. Tyree, so I think it's beneficial to Abraham, who got those competitive juices going yesterday, and played very well.
Brady with the big back wall set up there. Just seems to wrap it right around to Abraham, who gives Brady a big back wall setup, and he puts it away. When you get those setups, you have to convert. At this level and beyond, you just have to do it. You can make some mistakes early in rounds, but
42-17 combined in the 2 games.
you can't take a Paul Brady overhit and overhit your own shot that Paul then puts away.
And played very well.
Brady with the big back wall set up there. Just seems to wrap it right around to Abraham, who gives Brady a big back wall setup, and he puts it away. When you get those setups, you have to convert. At this level and beyond, you just have to do it. You can make some mistakes early in rounds, but
42-17 combined in the 2 games.
you can't. Nice get right there from Abraham. Paul still powers it right down the right corner out toward the left and gets that point.
Paul giving Abraham a lot of plums, though, Dave, early in this first game. Abraham's had a lot of good looks. He's converted some, hasn't taken advantage of others.
6-6.
We're all together at 6, first game, going to 21 in Fridley, Minnesota. Paul Brady is searching for number 11 to tie Nadi Alvarado Sr.
And Dave, it just seems like every generation has a player that just runs off 6, 9, 11, 10 national titles. With so many great players, it seems like one guy within each generation has really separated himself. You mentioned Nadi Alvarado Sr., Dave, winning 11, at one point winning 9 in a row.
Right.
And then you had Dave Chapman winning 9 between 1993 and 2011, but really, Dave, it was 2004 where he got 8 in those 93 to 2004 before that retirement, picking up a late one in his late 30s. And then you had Fred Lewis winning 6 and Jimmy Jacobs also winning 6. So it's interesting how there's always been that one guy that's been able to separate himself. And that leaves a lot of really great players, Dave, without any.
Second serve. Point.
There's a point for Paul Brady. After playing Paul Brady, I don't think you had a chance to play Nadi Alvarado Sr. But when you play Paul Brady, does he hit a heavy ball? Because when the players come off the court after playing Paul Brady, they look like they just went a few rounds in a heavyweight bout.
10-6.
Although most heavyweight bouts don't seem to go more than a couple rounds.
He combines precision with power.
Point.
And very consistent with
Timeout
both.
with 11-6.
So Paul Brady here, 5 straight points. Now he's in control this first game. What looked like Abraham was on his way to pushing Paul, but takes a timeout. But Dave, Paul Brady just has all the shots, so there's really no place you can put the ball where he's not either going to defend it or go on offense. So no weaknesses in any part of his game that are going to leave you with the setup. Really impressed by his kind of default Irish whip shot when he's pushed back. Also, he's got that underarm paddle, particularly with his left
30
hand,
seconds.
up in the front court, which is a very devastating shot.
The score here is 11-6 with Brady serving. Abraham Montijo getting that timeout. Paul Brady does look much more sharp here in the second half of this first half. I guess you would say the second quarter, so to speak. Didn't look very sharp at the very beginning, but
Resume play.
looks pretty good right now.
11-6. Point.
We saw Emmett Bischoten lose to Luis Moreno earlier this morning. So the winner of this, Dave, will face Luis Moreno in the semifinals tomorrow.
6-12. Side out.
Paul's footwork is just so outstanding.
12-6.
Always balanced, and he's always getting behind the ball and generating momentum to go into the shot. And there's Abraham with a low percentage 38-foot kill with Paul Brady up in the server's box. Then he comes back and gives Paul a plum off the back wall, first serve.
12-6. Side out. 6-12. Side out. 12-6. Point.
There's another point now for Paul Brady at 13-6.
Short.
Paul seems that he has a deadly serve down the right wall as well as one down the left. I also think he's a good rhythm server. Once he's in a rhythm, he's as dangerous as anyone that's ever served a ball.
Point. (14-6).
And I think that's one of the little tools that he has in his tool shed that's developed over the years is that serve. Although I know that some would argue that it's always been great, but I see he gets aces off of it now.
The 2006 World Championship final, Paul Brady and Tony Healy. Paul hit 7 aces in a row to start that match before Tony could even touch the ball. So you're going back 10 years, and a lot of people say, well, Paul developed this serve, you know, for the last few years, but that was some of the best serving we've ever seen.
I'll make it look official, though. Yeah, for the cameras. Yeah, in the crowd.
But when you have that much power, it's hard not to have a great serve. We see all the hardest hitters, Dave, notoriously or generally, I should say, are the best servers.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I think I instigated that he didn't have such a great serve about maybe 10 years ago or 8 years ago. It's been a long time that we've been doing these live broadcasts. I was thinking back, talking to my wife the other day about how we first originally started. And, you know, some of these moments will pop up in your head and you say, you know, he might not be very good at this. And then you just think back, well, that was 8 years ago I made that comment. You know, we've been around for a long time, not trying to make a transition here, but those first years were pretty brutal. 2005, 2004, doing live broadcasts. Now, you know, it's hard to believe that's 12 years ago. Paul Brady's done a lot of developing over 12 years. A lot of these pros have. Their games have changed, and if you've watched only just Sean Linning and Luis Moreno matches or throwing Mondo Ortiz over the last 3 or 4 years, you haven't seen how the game has really changed from the previous 8 years. Alan Garner, part of that mix as well.
Ten straight points now for Paul Brady, who's got Abraham on the schneid.
And that's the announcer's curse, as Abraham finally scores here to break that 10-point swing.
He's off the schneid. And Dave, that was a plum tree.
14-7.
From Abraham.
Point.
Best 2 out of 3 to 21, tiebreaker to 11. Paul Brady trying to get to 11 to tie Nadi Alvarado Sr. as the handball player with the most national titles in four-wall singles.
Side out. 7-15.
Nice get right there from Abraham. That ball then hits Abe on the way up. You know, I was looking at some of Dave Chapman's stats this morning, and every single time I thought there was an unbelievable feat that I was able to see there. I then look over at Paul Brady and I say, you know, he's really literally won 10 straight national championship titles. And if there's that year that he didn't participate, which if you want to be one of those people that picks apart stats and say, well, that's not 10 in a row. Well, it's 10 in a row for Paul.
Right.
He's going for 11 now, 11 straight.
And you brought up Dave Chapman. Dave Chapman's the last person to beat Paul Brady at the Nationals, which was Portland 2004. So however you slice it, Paul Brady has not lost a match at the Nationals since 2004.
It's just
He's won 10 in a row.
It's a personal 10.
And then, of course, Dave, to continue with the symmetry, it was Dave Chapman who won the year that Paul didn't play.
Yeah, really.
So the two are really intertwined, even though they really haven't played at all in the last 12 years. They played those 2 matches in the finals of the Nationals, 2009, 2010, which Paul Brady won easily. But yet their names just continue to pop up side by side. You talk about titles won, Chapman with 9, Brady with 10. Last person to beat Paul Brady,
Dave Chapman. The time that Paul didn't play, he had a broken finger. It wasn't that he elected not to play. He would have played that. This could have been his 12th, possibly.
And the last person to defeat Dave Chapman at the Nationals, Paul Brady, 2010.
But the one stat that Paul doesn't have is that those national doubles titles that Dave Chapman had. Something like 12 in 14 years.
With a bunch of different partners, too.
About 3 or 4 different partners. And
Nadi Alvarado Jr.
In 18 years, Dave Chapman had 14 times he was in the finals of doubles. Literally, actually every time. I'm wrong. It was every single year he played, except for that first year when he was 13, he played in the pros with Khalil. And after that, every time he ever played, he was either won it or was in the finals.
Even at 14?
Every single year.
Wow.
Which is just unbelievable. If you get rid of 1991, when he wasn't even really a qualifying pro yet. From 92 on, every time he played, he was either won it or lost in the finals. Pretty remarkable. But back to Brady, though, this is, I've never seen anything like it, really, the dominance. Brady back to front, doesn't make it. There's a side out. Montijo steps in, 8-16.
8-16.
Wouldn't you say in the top 10, maybe top 20,
Second serve.
that these two people are some of the most influential handball players on the planet, but in separate ways? Paul Brady influential based on his records and what he's doing, easily recognizable as probably the most recognized handball player there is. And Abraham Montijo for his work with the local youth. The development director for the Fred Lewis Foundation.
Both guys have made a huge impact on the sport.
Serve. I call it good. One short. Short. Okay.
Abraham is probably on the handball court more than anyone on the planet, either playing or coaching. He does so much of both. He's also a school teacher.
.816. Short. Second serve. Point.
Nice revolving door there for
Yeah, that's what that.
Abraham Montijo, who scores a point now, 9-16.
9-16. Point.
Remember in the old days, Paul Brady used to go through a tournament, not
10-16.
allow anybody
Yes.
into double digits?
Multiple nationals, in fact. 2009, or
Second serve.
2009 at Lowe's Cab, Dave. No one scored in double figures, including Chapman in the final, who only scored 9 points total in 2 games. Luis Moreno had defeated Paul in their previous match about 9 months prior and Paul beat him 21-8, 21-7 in their rematch in the semifinals of the Nationals.
16-10. Point.
Love that shot there from Paul, who keeps the ball straight down the wall by using that underarm stroke, a vertical stroke.
Point.
And Dave, very difficult to hit the ball straight down the wall with a sidearm stroke, particularly when you're close to the wall. And Paul knows that. That's why he's developed that, what you might call a bowling stroke or a modified Irish whip. Very much like a golf swing. And luckily for handball, Dave, no multiple weather delays here like they're having at Oakmont right now.
Two major tournaments going on at the same time on two sports that you absolutely love. How do you cope with yourself? You got the U.S. Open in golf. You've got the U.S. Open in golf going on, and then, of course, you have the U.S. Handball Nationals going on. We're watching one through a monitor and the other one through a 80-inch flat screen TV. You guess which one it is.
Yeah. John Stoffel, our referee here, Dave, he's works with the Minnesota State handball program. That's one of the up-and-coming top collegiate handball programs in the country.
And apparently a tongue twister.
For me.
Yeah.
John Stoffel's son, Tyler, Dave, one of the top young players in the country. In fact, advanced to the finals of the Collegiate Nationals this year, where he lost to Peter Function of Ireland. So in a way, he did win the title. He won the U.S. collegiate title for best
18-10.
United States collegiate player. And we hear, Dave, also that Michael Galton is planning on attending Minnesota State. So they could very well become that next powerhouse. Of collegiate handball.
Well, they've always had a solid program. Brady serving here at 18-10. Make that a point, I believe.
2 balls, thank you.
Abraham asking for either a screen or an appealed serve there.
He's appealing it.
I thought it was short. Okay.
Possible game point, serving 10.
And this went quickly here, Dave, for Paul, who seemed like he was at 16 just about 30 seconds ago. Now all of a sudden it's 21 in first game to Paul Brady, who needs just under 28 minutes to take that first game. So a moral victory, in a sense, for Abraham to keep Paul on the court that long.
Yeah, but I think Abraham's frustrated. You can see how he stomped his foot there after that last point from Paul Brady. And just a little frustrated with himself, obviously. I think he felt like he had some opportunities. Paul did, like you said, left some plums out there for Abe to pick, and he didn't pick them. In reverse, though, when Abe left his up, Paul put him down almost 100% of the time. So I can see where some of that frustration is. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in 4 minutes as we give you the live broadcast from Fridley, Minnesota at Lifetime Fitness. It is the 66th USHA Four-Wall National Handball Championships, and we'll have more coverage. Game number 2, in fact, coming up right on the corner. For Dave Fink, my name is Dave Vincent. Paul Brady versus Abraham Montijo. Coming up next, game number 2. Stick with us.
Green all-purpose cleaner. You can use it straight out of the bottle on Tough Grime or dilute the concentrated formula to make multiple bottles of daily cleaner. Safe for all washable surfaces, Simple Green can be used indoors and out. From kitchens and bathrooms to living and play areas, countertops and floors to furniture and clothing. Keep your home and our world clean with Simple Green. – . – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – –
You play with somebody as talented as this.
They're there for a reason, so I got to go in there ready to play.
Now it's 11-11. The winner will win the cup, and it all comes down to this.
Everything on the line on this point, Dave, all season for 1 point.
It's Juan Santos again. It's Juan Santos again. It's Juan Santos again. Juan Santos again. Juan Santos again.
The Tucson Racket and Fitness Club is your home away from home. Work out, relax, and refuel. All this and more can be yours. Call us at 795-6960 or visit TucsonRacketClub.com. The Tucson Racket and Fitness Club, where Country Club Road ends and fitness begins.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
In mining, this is the office. And whether your commute starts here or here, the challenges are everywhere. Scarcer high-grade ores, volatile commodity prices, tighter profit margins, and making sense of all that data. Your industry may be complex. Your industry may be unpredictable, but it's our industry too. It always has been, and we're right here with you. Welcome to MineQuest.
Welcome to MineQuest. Bienvenidos a MineQuest.
Here's where we collaborate. Here's where we innovate. Here's where we listen to you. Smart people shaping smart change. Connecting products. Connecting people. For safer, more productive mines. One vision, one solution. For the life of your mine. Welcome to MineQuest.
We are back here at Fridley, Minnesota, where Paul Brady and Abraham Montijo are going after it. Luis Moreno won the earlier one today when he took down Emmett Peixoto. This is the men's quarterfinals, Dave.
Great serve there from Paul Brady, the deep crack to the left. Have not seen Paul locate his reverse down the left. And that time comes up a little short on the side wall in the second serve. Abe with a nice ceiling shot, pins Paul against the left side wall and earns the side out. Not an error, Dave, that's a forced error. Abraham will need to keep his errors under 7 and execute 75% or more of his plum opportunities. That's the formula, Dave, to be competitive against Paul Brady. Now you're saying, well, that's basically playing perfect handball. Well, yeah, that's what you have to do.
That's 74% plum opportunities?
75% or more taking advantage of, putting them away. Because you know that there's going to be a lot of those 3-shot rally, 1-shot rally wins for Paul Brady. So you can't afford to give up anything because you're not going to get those aces that he will.
David, you were going to take one of Paul's signature shots, the one that you're going to put on the poster.
0-2.
Or if you're going to do a slow-mo video, what is that one thing that he's known for? If you were going to say, this is Paul Brady right here.
You know, when I played Paul, the left-hand underarm paddle re-kill is a devastating shot. Just because I hit a lot of my shots into that left corner and he's there to re-kill them. But I would say that right-hand bounce pass he hits to the left that just takes one bounce and dies, doesn't come off the back wall, but he hits it with so much power and just enough reverse so that it checks up and you just have no chance.
Well, I was thinking it was the left-handed two-wall pass.
Well, he'll tell you that that's his favorite shot, the left-handed two-wall pass.
3-0.
I can't even see left-handers do it.
Point.
You know, just a picture of Paul loading up, having his elbow cocked at a 45-degree angle as he's waiting for that ball to come with his left, and he has so many different options with that shot. Sometimes he flips it up high, and then other times he goes two-wall pass, even goes for a kill. That modified underhand whip-style shot, though, that you're talking about is just deadly from Paul. That right there, right where he cocks his hand right there.
So I think we narrowed down the poster to 7 shots. There's a good shot from Abe. And you see he rushed that one because he felt Paul coming in from behind, so he took it at about shoulder height.
Big setup for Paul. Another big setup for Abraham.
That should be an avoidable.
Paul walks right in front of Abe, then swings and misses.
I mean, I'm surprised Abe didn't say anything there.
1-4.
You know, Dave, sometimes on video it looks like the opponent's a lot closer than he actually is. Maybe that was one of those instances there.
Yeah, maybe.
And Paul tries to just feather dump that first strike kill and did not work.
Well, it worked the first time in the previous rally, so I think he tried to go back to it. That one's not on the poster.
No.
Second serve. Thank you. Side out.
And Dave, that's the drop shot, I would say. Paul just sticks his hand out there and uses the pace from Abraham's shot, dumps it right into the corner.
Surprised Dave didn't leave his feet for that.
We call that the Saturday morning shot.
5-1.
You know, Dave, when you're playing some pickup doubles on Saturday morning, but Paul's able to pull it off in national championship play.
Point.
Of course, I'm speaking hypothetically. I've never played pickup doubles, but I see other people do it.
You should. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm finding it fun.
Point.
Has to be scheduled in advance. Singles only.
7-1. Short. Second serve. Point.
And Paul uses every wall on the court to hit that ace serve.
8-1.
Paul looks really good right now.
Side out.
And that wasn't even a plum. But Abraham takes the chance there. He knows that he's going to have to do more than just hit good shots. He's going to have to hit good shots just to get serve.
Side out.
Paul has a really fast-paced. He's catching that ball from Abraham, getting up there, bouncing the ball, sure.
averaging less than 6 seconds between rallies. Paul Brady.
9-1. Side out.
Compare that to tennis, Dave, which averages between 30 to 35 seconds between rallies. Now the time limit in tennis in a non-Grand Slam is 25 seconds, but they often exceed that by at least 5. And it's not as though they're chasing the ball around. Remember, Dave, there are no timeouts in Paul Brady matches unless the opponents call them.
Point.
So it's continuous play. So Paul Brady's match is 55 minutes long. That's
2-9.
probably about 46 minutes of handball.
Point.
You know, you contrast that with some of the other top players.
3-9.
You can see a 2-hour and 20-minute match with 46 minutes of handball.
Actually, 16 minutes or less.
I thought it was about 6 for 3.5 hours. I mean, it started about college football, which I know that you love so much.
Well, that was a nice little underhand paddle left kill from Abraham Montijo. When you start making those shots, it shows that you have a little bit of confidence pouring in.
4-9.
I wasn't in an excuse. He actually went. Score here is 4-9. Scoring 2 is Montijo.
There's that beautiful golf swing.
Called serve good. He's appealing serve. Disagree. Couldn't see, so we'll replay it.
They are going to replay that. Paul Brady not happy.
Cancels out a great rally-ending shot from Paul, and now able to use that time from the appeal and also add 60 seconds to it.
Okay, timeout.
As you get a shot there of Minnesota State college handball coach Mike Wells. He's also working as part of the tournament staff here at Brady, Minnesota. This is kind of his home event. He takes a lot of pride in it. See him taking some signs to the ball.
You're watching 4-ball National Handball Championships from Fridley, Minnesota. Nice having long Dave Fink, top 8 pro into the season ranked at number 8. Are you happy with your results being at 8? Because you've been right around that 5, 6, 7 spot, and then all of a sudden you dropped based on the fact that you probably thought that you weren't going to play handball anymore because of an injury to your back. I think 8 you probably are happy with.
Yeah, based on where I was early in the season when I wasn't playing, missing the first 2 events, but you know, the middle of the season was just a huge letdown for me. Had a couple of really poor performances in a row, and so at the end of the day, not happy. But in the bigger picture, probably happy, yes, that I was able to compete and have a couple of good results. Would have liked to have been a little bit more consistent. But there's always next season.
Okay, we'll resume play.
I hope.
Replay that.
There will be a next season as well.
Well, I know there's going to be one. I hope there'll be one for me. That my body holds up.
That's why I said as well. For
Yeah.
you,
Okay.
I'm anticipating that you will be there.
Okay.
Second serve.
Hope to be.
But we want to thank you for your analysis.
Point.
I don't know, Dave, if Paul was fooled there or just a little bit slow out of the blocks.
Short. Second serve.
No hitter called. These guys are scrappy right now. That should make it, does. This is where Paul's dangerous right there. Paul almost hits Abraham. Paul gets that out. Both players putting it out there on the floor. Montijo got the better of Paul Brady there.
6-9.
You know, we were saying, Dave, how good Paul Brady was looking taking that 9-1 lead. Now all of a sudden 5 straight points for Abraham, who's looking really strong right now. Anytime you can put 5 straight points on the board against Paul Brady, you're doing something that not many have done before.
Nice shot there from Montijo, pushes Brady left to right, gets the point, now 7-9, and I agree with you.
And that's 3 rallies in a row where Paul Brady has been unable to get to shots that I would have thought he would have gotten pretty easily. So I don't know, Dave, if that's a sign of complacency or maybe 36-year-old legs. Dave, I don't know what age you started to notice that you weren't getting to balls that you used to get to.
Right around the mid-30s.
Yeah. I know I've noticed it.
Although,
In the
don't
last
you wish
couple
that
of
you could
years.
take your 36 or 37-year-old brain and put it into that 20-year-old? Because the brain
it's the same for me.
Is it really?
The brain is the same, yeah. On the court.
You're the wrong guy to talk to about anything. There's a point now, finally, for Paul Brady, breaks into double digits. And I say finally because it's been a scoring drought.
10-7.
Paul goes with the head fake there.
Second serve.
That would be on the poster also, but I don't know that it would really show up well on the poster, but it's a very effective tactic.
My poster would be me eating an In-N-Out burger.
Just waiting for that.
Just replay it.
43 minutes until I got that. Didn't think I'd have to wait that long.
It looked like you restricted his swing on it, so we'll just replay it.
If we've seen this quite a bit. Both these guys falling to their right to take balls with their left hand in the middle of the court. Both right-handed players.
Point.
Paul with a semi-open stance there, drives the ball down the wall, uses the spin with the ball coming across his body.
7-7.
And able to hug the wall there, out of Abraham's reach. And there's another one, Dave, that I would have expected Paul to return pretty easily, and he doesn't.
7-11.
And Dave, uncharacteristically, Paul Brady not putting away a lot of these back wall setups with his right hand. In fact, taking the ball slightly behind himself, which is the reason he's not able to hit these back wall plums as low as he normally would.
Timeout at 11-7.
Just not backing up far enough to let the ball come out in front of him. He's reaching back slightly. And he's catching the ball just 4 or 5 inches behind his sweet spot, which is enough to not be able to put the ball away.
And what do you think causes that? Because you know Paul Brady's in the top shape that he could possibly be in coming into this tournament. Is it the factor of flying over from Ireland? Maybe you haven't settled correctly. Maybe the altitude, the court indifference. I mean, all these things come together later rounds.
But it looks to me like this back wall is really dead, and when the ball is hitting the back wall, it's coming down and not really coming out. So that's probably an adjustment that Paul is going to have to try and make. Because, you know, Dave, you're accustomed to the ball coming off the back wall a certain way. And when it's not, you know, it can be difficult to force yourself to go back farther for a ball that you normally would be waiting for in a certain spot. So, or it could just be that, you know, he's not moving his feet as much as he needs to move the feet at this point. But he's losing a good bit of his power and accuracy.
is game number 2. Paul Brady wins the first one against Abraham Montijo, 21-10.
Dave, did Paul have any injury there in Portland? Seemed like something in his lower body, his leg, and I just saw him kind of grabbing his right inner thigh there, or groin area, during this timeout.
Yeah, I believe there was some talk, but a lot of you guys don't like to talk about injuries because you don't want to make an excuse. But there was something to do with a leg injury that was potentially boiling. But the injury that I heard from Portland was a bone bruise.
I knew about the bone bruise, but it seemed to me that his...
We're talking handball, though, right? I mean, 'cause everybody that's playing has something nagging. I mean,
yeah,
this sport's a tough sport.
No, it's very tough. But you know, now that I've seen these last 4 or 5 balls that Paul has not picked up, also the way he's moving to take these back wall shots, I'm starting to think maybe there is a problem with that adductor or groin area. Maybe a slight pull. Now I'm just speculating, but not seeing Paul move, you know, as well as he usually does. So it's conjecture at this point, but I think we have some grounds to speculate.
Okay, resuming play.
And of course, Dave, sitting here, we can always speculate and criticize.
That's what we do best.
We don't even need reasons. But right now, I think we do have one. At least I do.
7-11.
Nice shot there. And Montijo for the side out. That was beautiful.
Dave, did these longer rallies, these rallies that are 10 or more shots, benefit Abraham at this point?
I think so. Or it's going to benefit whoever plays Paul in the next round.
11-8.
Luis Moreno also playing a lot of long rallies against Emmett Schote. Wins that match in just under 2 hours.
Second serve.
So he'll be in the ice bath tonight.
Or roughing.
It's impossible to predict.
Side out.
Oh, somebody yelled back there, and that disrupted Paul Brady. And it was from a side court.
11. Short.
These guys, Dave, coordinated these outfits last night. Red shorts and a black shirt.
Second serve.
Said they wanted to make it hard on us.
Side out. Thank you. 11-8. Point.
That's an error that Abraham does not want to make. Not a great serve from Paul. It pops out.
12-8. Point.
If you think it benefits these players to say, no matter what kind of serve I get, unless it comes right off the middle of the back wall, I'm not going to go for a kill. I'm going to
13-8.
try and push the server out of the front court or just play defense.
Point.
Because you see these guys that try and play offense on the return of serve, and
14-8.
you see a lot of skips. I just don't know if it's worth it, even if you're putting away 50% of those serves, to go for those shots. And you see it again there from Abe, a very easy Z serve that comes 15 feet out from the back wall, and Abe makes his second error on the same swing and 4 points.
Now Paul Brady is scoring points and numbers.
Timeout
I
at
agree.
16-8.
But it's another left-handed air or setup from Abraham off that Z serve. And Dave, if you're going to give Paul a setup in the front court on the return of serve, that's basically the same as an air. I almost think as a player playing against these top players, you have to commit yourself to, I'm going to push him out of the front court or wrap the ball around or hit to the ceiling but I'm not going to put the ball on the floor, and I'm not going to give him the setup no matter what serve I get. Now, there's going to be some serves that are going to be either impossible to return or so hard to return that you will give him a setup, but you have to concede that that's par for the course against these great servers. But I think when you get an opportunity to take a swing, have to play some defense. The odds of killing the ball from 35 feet with the server up there in the server's box who's waiting for a re-kill, not in your favor, those odds.
All right, resuming play. 16-8.
And there's a point making it 17-8. You know, it's easy to watch on a monitor and say you need to convert your shots when they're there, but there's a lot of factors that play into this. One of those factors being Paul Brady is that you're playing right now, and that makes it very difficult. But I know that Abraham's going to go back home thinking about this stuff, and he'll think that he actually legitimately had a chance, and I think he did in a lot of ways.
Well, you know, he played Paul virtually even in the first half of both these games, and the second half of the first game obviously got away from him, and this second half of the second game thus far has gotten away from him as well. Not over yet, but Paul's 2 points from the semifinals here.
Watch how Paul puts that.
Paul goes inside out there. And you see Paul's not really convinced. Although that time he does feather the ball.
19-8.
Just out of Abraham's reach.
Huge setup for Abraham.
Oh, no.
Both players playing a little sloppy up front.
Little cat and mouse.
Referee letting the players play through. I like it. He went underhand on that and just feathered it in. The last time out, Dave, I saw when Paul was walking around, you were talking a little bit about what Abraham had to do with his left hand. But Paul does look like he has strained that inner
noticed
thigh.
that.
During the timeout, I saw how he was walking around and it was really labored.
And I'm noticing how he's running back to the back wall.
8-20.
He's almost doing it on one leg.
Title.
That was a great return, but you see Paul hitting a lot of open stance shots here, Dave, and he's normally a closed stance guy, and I think that leg is prohibiting him from closing his stance and driving through the ball. He's still got a lot of power just from the open stance. He's got a lot more power and control with the closed stance.
Replay.
Just the 5th hinder called in this match.
20 serving 8.
Would you consider either of these players as close players? This is match point, by the way.
Paul just cannot seem to put the nail in this match.
Just my judging now, I don't spend my day watching But
I do.
during that timeout, I did notice that Paul Brady was taking these little tiny steps. It's almost the type of step that you take when you feel like if you take a big step, something's going to pull or snap. And it looked like it was in his hamstring, but maybe on the inner side of the thigh. And I don't know exactly what muscle that would be. But
That's a groin or adductor muscle. And that's a very big muscle, and it's a very difficult injury to play through.
But it is fun injury to have when you're at the massage table. So there's negatives and positives to everything. The big one coming up next, and I have no way of even guessing how this is going to turn out. It's Sean Lenning and Martin Mulkerns, former national finalists for both.
Right.
And we're going to catch that next. So get ready. More men's quarterfinals continuing from the four-wall National Handball Championships in Fridley, Minnesota with the United States Handball Association, courtesy of the President's Club with the USHA, Board of Directors with the WPH. We'll have more streaming action here at racerate.com right around the corner. For Dave Fink, I'm Dave Vincent. Stick around. We'll be back in about 10 minutes.